Hey folks, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about deep crankbaits. As you can see here, I've got quite a few colors from different manufacturers. First thing I'm going to do is actually talk about the colors. Then I'm going to talk about the different types of gear you can use to make it effective for you. And then lastly, I would like to cover the type of line that I use. So first off, Delta Red color by Strike King. That's primarily what I use in the springtime when the crawl bite is on. Sometimes I will throw it in muddy water as well when they're not attacking this guy. This is a chartreuse blackback color from Strike King. I only use this in muddy conditions out there on the lake or river. And then as the water continues to get clearer, you'll notice that the baits get more realistic, at least in my opinion. So next, if I got 1 to 2 feet of water clarity, I'll go into a sexy chartreuse shad color, as you can see right here. And then, if I got greater than 2 foot of water clarity, I'll start using the Tennessee shad color. As you see, the green is kind of the main theme where I live in the local lakes that I primarily fish. And then in really clear water, and I'm talking 5 feet or greater, I like to use the green gizzard shad color by Strike King. And if I hold it up to the light, you'll be able to see that it's translucent. So obviously that makes a difference, because what you're trying to do is mimic the type of forage that you're eating, but at the same time, when it's really muddy, you're trying to highlight the bait so that they can get to it and take a swipe at it. Anyway, so that's kind of the down and dirty when it comes to colors. Next I'd like to talk about is there's obviously different manufacturers, different designs out there. What I like to do is, because I'm on a budget, is I like to stick with a particular company that I will, if I find a good deal, I'll go out and buy a couple of those, just so that you can change it up, especially if you go fish the same place all the time. The fish are going to get used to it, and then you've got to throw something a little bit different, and these make a little bit different sound compared to the Strike King deep diving crankbaits. Also, another option is to purchase some that don't make any sound at all, and that can even get a reaction out of the fish because they get so sensitive to hearing that knock all the time, to where you go through there with a deep diving crankbait and they're used to hearing a knock and there's no knock, and they're like, hey, time to eat. So that's a kind of a quick down and dirty on the different colors. So next, what I'd like to talk about is the type of gear that you would like to use. I'm going to go over the type of gear I use. I'm sure, just like anything else in this world, there's 100 different ways that you can rig it up. I'm just going to tell you about my way and what works for me. First of all, I'm a huge David Fritz fan when it comes to crankbait rods, so stick with what you know. I know that his obviously have a lot more bend towards the tip, which I like. Those composite rods that folks are using, yes, they are a little bit more sensitive, but I personally, it may be due to my lack of experience, tend to lose more fish with those type of rods. Even though I can feel every little tick on the bottom of the lake, I tend to lose fish when I get them closer to the boat, because it doesn't have enough of that parabolic bend in the tip, so that it counteracts what the fish movements are doing. So that's why I like to go with more of just a graphite only rod. So anyway, this is a 7-11 length rod, 7 foot 11 inches, medium heavy in the power, and then the action is a moderate fast. So it works great for me, so I'm sticking with it. And then as far as the reel ratio, I stick in the 5-to-1 to 5-to-5. I would not venture past that for a deep, because these things are pretty heavy, and over a long period of time it will get taxing pulling that. And maybe on one of my other videos I can actually show you the techniques to use, so that you're kind of using your whole body when you're doing your deep cranking versus, you know, just using your arms, because it will tire you out fairly quick. Anyway, so that's the gear. Now I'm going to talk about the line. I'm a huge fluorocarbon fan when it comes to crankbaits. That's what I use. And then the different sizes. The best way for me to explain it is the thinner the line, the more depth that you can actually get out of your crankbait. However, I would strongly suggest that you do not use extremely light line. I do not go past 10 pounds when I use deep crankbaits. I have all mine rigged right now for 12 pounds. For me, that's a happy medium. I don't have time to re-spool everything every night, so that's what works for me. I don't worry about snapping off the line, a fish off the line as often. Anytime, you know, there's folks who use 8-pound test, you know, to get those couple extra 2 or 3 feet out of their crankbaits, and they're sponsored and they have multiple, you know, they get replacements real cheap, so good on them for being able to do that. But I do not have that luxury, so I have to be a little bit more conservative when it comes to my setups. So anyway, I went over the colors today, I went over to the gear, and then I went over the line. I'm sure there's a lot of things I left out. That's just kind of the basic stuff. Please leave your comments below. If you like my videos, great, I appreciate it. Subscribe. If you don't, then that's okay too. But I'm glad that you watched a little bit of the video you watched, and I hope to see you again. And you guys take care. Bye.